Welcome everybody to episode 32 of The Safe State. I am joined tonight by these guys right here. Jason from The Construct, how's it going?
What's up, man? Good to be here.
Good to have you. Yugi601, how are you?
32, good to be here.
32, yeah.
Nice.
Yako from The Tech Update, back, joining us from South Africa.
All the way.
Gentlemen, we are full of joy this evening, full of delight, full of festivities, because one, Jesus loves us.
Amen.
Amen to that.
That's actually the biggest reason. The second reason is that the Switch 2 has been announced, and we're going to talk about it tonight because there's been a lot of controversy, a lot of confusion, a lot of hype, really great things, some not so great things. It's kind of a hot mess over there at Nintendo right now. And so we're just going to kind of go through some of this information. I want to see what you guys think. We're going to talk about the console itself, its features. We're going to talk about the games that are coming to the platform and some of the pricing woes around this, and hopefully bring a little sanity to the chaos here tonight. And so to get started, like always, I just want to hear what you guys have been playing real quick and see if there's anything cool that we all need to check out. What about you, Yako? Why don't you go first? You want to?
Yeah. As always, staying on my League of Legends.
You love that League of Legends.
I like League of Legends and played once again some older stuff. Told you about this one before, Demigod. Older type of MOBA. And then Sins of a Solar Empire played a little bit, not much, but a little bit. It's all PC games. Anno 1800. Buddy gifted me Anno 1800, but I haven't gotten to that one yet. So mostly strategy.
Yeah. Okay.
Little bit of Fortnite.
Okay. I haven't played Fortnite recently. And I hadn't heard of that last game you mentioned either. I don't know that.
And Anno 1800. It's a city builder.
I haven't heard of that one. Okay.
Good.
Cool. Yugi.
Oh, so funny enough, today I finally somewhat committed to my obligation of finishing Astrobot. I actually finished it today.
Nice.
You know, dude,
What do you mean you
mind-blowing.
somewhat committed to it? If
Finally.
you finished it, you...
I know, but I'm like, I didn't. Okay, the reason why I say somewhat is because I'm missing one bot, and it's still bothering me. Okay, I didn't find the one. I don't know where the last bot is, but I did beat the game. I did roll credits. The credits are playable. Like,
Nice.
I don't know
All
what
game
games that do
credits
that.
should be playable.
Period. That's it.
It should
That's the
all
only-
be playable.
It
I
will
don't know
never
why
be a
they're
10
not.
out of 10. Exactly. If it's not, it'll never be a 10 out of 10 unless there's playable credits. That's my new standard,
Yeah.
folks.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Something you don't know about me.
Go ahead.
I have this thing, whether it's a movie or a game, where I have to stay and watch the credits. I feel like I owe
Yeah.
it to the people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into the thing that was created
Mm-hmm.
to stay and watch, even though you can't possibly read everyone's name. It's impossible.
No, especially
But
an
just to
Astrobot. I
sit
can't
through
even.
that part and just acknowledge, yep, you worked on it. Thank you. Good job. I have to do it. I do it for every game and every movie.
Mhm.
And it,
And half
my
the
wife
names in
hates it. My
Astrobot.
wife hates it when we go to the movies. She's like, "Do we really have to sit here?" Yeah, honey, we really got to sit here. I'm enjoying the music.
You've become friends with that one guy who's cleaning the popcorn.
Yeah.
He's like giving you the
Hey.
stank face. Like, really, you're that guy?
Yeah, Jake. Yeah,
He's a good guy.
I'm telling you,
kid,
man.
real good kid.
And the thing about it too is like I can't pronounce half the names that I was seeing in Astrobot's credits, but hey, man, they did a freaking fantastic job.
Yeah.
It was
It's probably
playable.
a lot of
Yeah.
Japanese, Chinese type of names.
Oh my goodness! I mean, because of course, like, what Bethesda's gonna make a game like that? Come on. No, it's gonna be the modders that make playable credits before they do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
that
yeah, it was.
table credits, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. That was. And correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you guys would know. I've never seen a game do that before, so I love that.
Smash
No,
Bros.
agreed.
Smash Bros. Does that.
Super
Okay.
Smash Bros. Has playable credits. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
much to it, but they always have playable credits. And I don't know why other games don't. They should.
Mm.
It's like a weird
Absolutely.
thing that nobody ever does. I don't know.
It's the coolest thing ever. So shout out to them. I get why it won Game of the Year. I really do. I really do. So if Sony's going in this
Very cool.
direction, sign me up. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be. Everybody should be going in that kind of direction, you know, with variety. They don't all need
Yeah.
to look like Astrobot, but
Yeah.
it had a reasonable budget. It was produced in a reasonable amount of time, and it's a great game.
Absolutely.
Visually
Absolutely.
stunning. One game of the year. Why can't we have more stuff like that? I don't
what I'm
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, that was me.
Yeah. I'll tell you something else that games should do before we get to Jason's game. Something else that is really cool that it was on the Wii U, which nobody played, but the original Splatoon on Wii U, when you would be waiting in the lobby to get into a match online, on the gamepad screen, there was a mini game that you could play. So they gave you something to do while
Yeah.
you waited to join the match.
That's
and
cool.
That would have
and
been
all
awesome.
games should have something like
be
that.
good.
Like Fortnite, you know, you have that loading area where you kind of
Yeah.
run around and pick up stuff. You can't really fight anybody, but at least it's something to do while you wait. I feel like that's the first time I'd ever seen that was with Splatoon, and I feel like more games should have something
Absolutely.
like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
What about you, Jason? What have you been playing?
I got a review copy of Wanderer Fragments of Fate for Quest, and
Is it okay?
it's good. It's the implementation on Quest is terrible, but it's just
Do you
I think
it'll
I
get
think
better?
it's time. I think it's time for Quest 4 at this point because it's a brilliant game. It just they can't do everything they wanted to do on the Quest. You know, things are bugging out. Things look like kind of Xbox 360 days, kind of like textures, and like things just really look rough. But one thing I will say about the game, and I haven't made a video on it yet, and I kind of hate like rushing through games to make a video because this game's actually pretty good. It's a smart game, and it's so refreshing to have to think in the game. So it's a puzzle game. It looks like an adventure game, at first glance, but you have to solve things. It's kind of like figuring out how to get to the next thing. So lots of puzzles, but it's not like hand holding you at all. You'll walk into a room, there'll be something you can't reach, and you'll hit, even if you hit the hint button, he's like, that looks interesting. Maybe you should do something with that. And it's like
not a real hint. It's just,
yeah, exactly. So
Gotcha.
yeah, just having to think like things from like the beginning of the game are showing up in the middle of the game, and I have to go back because I remember that I left something on the floor like 5 levels ago to bring it back to the. It's pretty cool. It's really cool. I like that. It's challenging and thought provoking. Pretty cool.
Gotcha. Do you travel through time or something in that game?
Yeah. You travel. It's kind of like Quantum Leap. If I'm not showing
Okay.
my age, but yeah,
I get it, but
yeah. So you kind of embody like people from different time periods. But just to kind of give you like a hint of like how cool it is. It's like, so if I'm like one person in that time period and I'm like stuck on a cliff, I might have to go to the other person who's at the bottom of the cliff to turn something on so the person at the top of the cliff can make it across. And then I have to bring something from across back and then switch to the other person at the bottom and give it to him to do the next step. I mean, it gets really like complex like that. So it's fun. I mean, some people might feel like this feels like school or something, or it feels frustrating, but no, I like it.
So, do you think that the Quest version will get better? Like, can they patch some of this out?
There's a lot going on. I think with these like AAA level type games that they end up fitting onto the Quest.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can put in there. The file size will get too big. The headset will get too hot. So, I mean, maybe not. I think they're gonna actually. I'm glad you brought that up. they should stop releasing the Quest version first. Some of these games end up being cross-buy, where you can buy the PC VR version too,
Yeah.
or you get the PC VR version with it. But they keep dropping the Quest version first, and then like everyone hates it, and then later on the PC version comes out, and no one's like willing to go back because they hated the Quest version so much. So
Yeah. I looked at the reviews on the Quest store and it was pretty mixed. There's some people that really liked it and some people talking about the bugs and the problems with it. And so I don't know.
You have to play it with a forgiving heart. You have to just understanding. Yeah.
So I've been playing a couple of things. One is I've been playing Behemoth on Quest 3.
Yes.
And I picked up the Quest 3 version. And
that's cross-buy too, by the way.
It's cross-buy too. And so you can play it on PC or you can play it just natively on your Quest. And I've only played it natively so far. And it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's a mobile chip. What do you expect? Like, it does look like a 360 kind of ish game, and a lot of them do. So it's not that surprising. But there has been, like, I feel like the game's a lot better than it was at launch. Like, because I know it was pretty buggy at launch, and they fixed a lot of stuff.
Yep.
So I've been enjoying it. I'm on my way to the second Behemoth, which is a giant dragon, and I'm pretty excited about fighting that one. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I've also been, it's been really fun so far. A lot slower than I thought, though. Like, you're not constantly fighting people. Like, you kind of walk around and
roam around a lot,
and explore and solve some things occasionally. And so that was, which I like. I'm not complaining about it. I think it keeps it a little more interesting, I think. I've also been playing on this. I started playing Pokemon Crystal on Game Boy Color, and I can't. It's so dumb. I never finished a Pokemon game in my life. I can't stop playing this. You can fast forward, like, through the game, so I can run like crazy fast through the game, and it doesn't take as long. So I'm like, I can just play one more battle, and I'll fast forward through battle, and then it's like, oh no, now I'm on to the next one. And I just can't seem to quit. Like, I just keep picking it up, and I've been playing it with AI. So like, I'll get to a part and like, where do I go now? I'll ask AI, and so it's literally I'm developing a walkthrough of the game using Grok on X, and it's been very, very helpful, and it's crazy how accurate it is. I mean, it is a really old game, so I guess there's a lot of info out there about it probably, but it like gives pretty good advice. So I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And it works out. So
these kids have no idea what it's like to have to try to read Nintendo Power in the grocery store before your mom comes back. Yep.
Yes.
And it's like that, and I just realized that's like personalized advice too, because you could probably ask Grok like, "Hey, this is my team, this is my stats. Like, what should I do?" Oh, that's amazing.
It knows like who my main is and some different little things about me, and it's giving me advice based on that. And I'd be like, "Well, you're gonna have to fight this person in the next town, so you're gonna need to use these moves will be effective, and these won't, and stuff like that." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks for letting me know."
So good.
Yeah,
it's so cool. Hey Grok, pretend you're my older cousin who beat the game.
literally. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really helpful. I probably wouldn't still be playing it if I weren't using that. But it's kind of a neat experiment too, just to kind of have it build me a personalized walkthrough is kind of neat.
So good, yeah.
And it knows everything we've talked about because we're just having our conversation, and it just keeps going. So it's not like I have to re-prompt it every time. Like, I can leave and come back later and continue it, So interesting stuff. Another use for AI that I hadn't considered before. Cool. Well, hey, Nintendo, a big presentation last week. I don't know if you guys know this, but Switch 2's coming. Coming on June 5th, which is my anniversary. So I said, hey, honey, Guess what?
So the real question is, Bo, are you going to get her one too?
Uh,
But
ooh, I'm not. I don't have enough. My pockets aren't that deep, man. Yeah. I can't get us both one, but we can share. You know, that's what the Joy-Cons are for.
There you go. Yeah, multiplayer.
Yeah.
Split screen.
Yeah.
The dock, yeah.
I wanted to show a little bit of this overview. Let's see here if I can share this. Did you guys watch any of the presentation? Have you seen any of the stuff?
Yeah,
I've seen
so
some of the
far?
stuff. Yeah.
most
Some
of
of
the
the games, yeah.
direct and some other videos on it. It looks very good. It's very interesting. A lot of modularity with the controllers, eh? Well,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
things you
the
can do with it.
controllers seem so nice. I mean, the whole time I was watching this presentation on the system, I just kept thinking they have really taken their time. They've really thought this through. No, it really looks like it should have taken them all this time. Like we wanted one, 3 years ago, but no, they've really taken their time and thought this through. I feel like, and apparently, like these Joy-Con, they connect magnetically, and people were worried about that, and now people have tried it out, and they're like, no, don't worry about it. Actually, they feel stronger than the rails you slide them onto now with the original Switch. Like it's really
Sure.
strong.
I
It
did
really
see
works.
that. Did you guys see that? Like, I think the L buttons on the inside of the Joy-Cons are metal, so that's what the magnets are like attracting. That's why they're
I
strong.
didn't see that actually.
Yeah.
I saw that they were bigger. Those buttons are bigger, and which I'm glad because
Yep.
they needed to be. The screen obviously is bigger. Same thickness though, so they're fitting all this into the same thing. And now it's a 1080p display, which is great. Instead of 720. I thought that Mario thing there was dumb. I wish they hadn't shown that. They barely look different. But, but now 120 FPS on
Wow.
on compatible games.
on the
but
console, yeah.
the screen can do that. Like
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty impressive.
they built that in, and that's crazy to me. They don't usually go this far with graphics and power and stuff, and HDR built into the display as well. I have heard multiple YouTubers who have gone to New York to try this out already say that they think this display looks better than the Switch OLED,
Wow.
which really shocked me. So I don't know if there's some kind of mini LED going on here inside the LCD or what, but apparently it looks really, really good.
No.
I want to talk about the mouse functionality, but not quite yet. I want to talk about that when we look at Metroid Prime. They are, however, not using Hall Effect sticks, so to be determined if there will be Joy-Con drift issues again this generation. But the mouse stuff looks really cool, and
No way.
yeah,
Definitely.
the
Oh my
coolest
goodness.
part.
I can what? I can literally play that on my desk. Like what the heck?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's awesome.
yes, and people did say this game was kind of awkward because you're like moving both hands and pushing up, and I don't know,
Yeah.
a little
I
weird
don't know
to
how that's gonna
control.
work. Yeah.
But the Metroid Prime stuff is apparently great.
Yeah.
And what you can do is you're playing with the joysticks. You can put the controller, the right one or the left one, either one, I guess, down on the table. It will switch to mouse mode. You can aim with your mouse and shoot with the mouse mode. Pick it back up and move seamlessly back into thumbstick mode. You don't have to. It just does it like automatically, and you don't have to go into a menu and change up your control scheme or anything like you normally would if you wanted to change how you're using your controller. It just all works seamlessly as in during gameplay, which I
That
think
so
is
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a hit for the PC guys. Keyboard and
Literally.
mouse.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
gotten
well,
used to dual stick controls on first person shooters. I
Yeah.
can't do that thing.
Well, I mean, Jaco, that's exactly why I like VR because it's mouse and keyboard I never loved, and then dual stick. It's like there's clearly like you need aim assist to make first person shooters work with dual stick. So
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Like, I've never gotten it's like drumming, never gotten that coordination down. Jeez.
right.
Don't know how the guys do it.
Yeah. More storage, faster storage. Not a crazy amount of storage, but definitely
Quite a
good
bit
enough,
more.
I think. Better than 32 that they had in the original.
Yeah.
4K support with the dock. The dock also has a built-in fan and a built-in LAN port, which nobody's talking about. The original Switch dock did not have built-in LAN support, an Ethernet port, and this does right out of the box. So, and 1440p mode on day one, and variable refresh rate on the built-in screen and on your TV in docked mode, if your
Sure.
TV supports it, of course. Which is really great. Which brings me to one of the other strengths is that what's the game called? Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is the one game we know about right now that is launching. They're putting the whole game with all the DLC on a cart, on
Sure.
one single cartridge. It's a 64 gigabyte cartridge. And
So this makes me think about the extra storage now. Yeah, we're not at 32, but now the games are going to be like 60.
the games are
gigs
gonna be bigger.
each. Yeah.
Mm,
For sure. But not all games, like a lot of Nintendo games will still be probably pretty small.
Yeah.
But Cyberpunk with all that DLC, and apparently it looks like people are saying it looks better than the Xbox Series S version, the PS4 version, the Xbox One version, the Steam Deck version. It looks better than all of those.
Sure.
Right.
It only runs at 30 FPS though, except there's a performance mode that runs at 40, which I think is really smart. And it's really smart that they did the 120 hertz refresh rate because that divides evenly into 40. And so,
So it'll be smoother. Yeah.
so it'll be smoother. And yeah, I think this is really smart. I think this is genius of them to do this.
It's weird seeing Nintendo get into the frame rate game. You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's
When I saw
real weird.
120, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, they don't usually have a hardware that goes this far, eh? That's just impressive. They can do up to 4K and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, they really haven't. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say that the fidelity chasers, like I think a lot of gamers, who went through the PlayStation and Xbox console wars, and then the PC versus console wars. A lot of pixel peepers out there, but like Nintendo over the years has always like just stayed in a class of their own and just said, just play the game. Yes, it's 720 or whatever. Just play the game. We're not doing that, but it's interesting to start to see these stats like in their promos. It's a new era.
But it feels to me like they had a lot of it. I mean, the whole mouse control thing with the Joy-Cons, there's a lot of innovation. The fact that you can chat now as well. I mean, it's been in PC and other games for ages, but they're doing a lot of. I'm trying to find the right description. A lot of things that'll get people to play. It's not all about the visual fidelity and the hardware. It's a lot about what you can do with the console as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is smart. It's a whole argument of not having the best looking game necessarily, but something that's playable and enjoyable. Same with the console, there are a lot of different ways you can use it. I really think the interconnectivity thing is smart because that adds a whole new layer to it. You can enjoy it with friends.
Yeah.
I miss the old days of LAN parties. Those were great.
Man, we still have those here in South Africa every now and then.
Yeah.
Did you, Yako? You brought up the chat and stuff. Did you see the camera that they're putting out with this too?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, apparently you don't have to get the Nintendo one. It's not that brilliant.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's good that you can actually attach another camera to it as well. But yeah, it looks interesting having your actual face in the game while you're playing some of the Mario Party stuff. I've never played Mario Party, but it looks fun.
Well, it
Well,
looks.
I heard that people are actually, or kids, I should say, are actually FaceTiming while they play. So I think they're trying to just kind of cut all that out and just use the Switch.
Yeah, apparently you had to use an app if you wanted to communicate. I mean, my son and them are currently, when they play Fortnite or Roblox, they're currently WhatsApp calling each other. So sitting with a WhatsApp call next to his PC, chatting to each other. So something like that integrates both would help a lot, I think. And hopefully the noise cancellation is as good as they say it is.
I'm worried about that.
The voice here seems a bit of a stretch, eh?
Typically, noise cancellation needs 2 microphones to work well. The Switch only has 1 microphone. It's on the top of the console, and if it's on your TV, it's gonna be sitting across the room. So I'm not really sure how that's supposed to work and work well, because this it says it's gonna know your voice and tune everything else out, but there's gonna be people talking over your TV speakers. If you're chatting with your friends, is he gonna take all their voices out and just put yours in? I don't know.
Yeah,
And then I was looking at not all TV setups are the same, right? Like some of them, your Switch might be behind your TV, or it might be like underneath inside a cubby hole or something. Like not every TV stand or everybody's house setup is all different. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions with that for me. I don't. It seems a little sketchy to me, but I'm still glad that they're bringing in voice chat. And if you're holding the Switch, I feel like it should work fine. Holding it should be right there next to the microphone. But when it's across the room, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's a bit of a stretch to believe it, but let's see if they could pull it off. It would be quite impressive. At least apparently the Joy-Cons have got a headphone jack now, so you don't have to, when you've got it docked, you don't have to plug into the actual dock to have your headphones. So you can plug your headphones into the controller, as far as I understand.
Into the Pro controller, you can, yeah.
Yeah, the Pro controller, sorry, not the Joy-Cons.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of quality of life improvements over the original, plus some innovation as well, and I'm excited about that. I don't know, the camera stuff is a little weird. Apparently you can only chat with your friends, so I know that there were some concerns about random people showing up in your chat and being inappropriate. Apparently that shouldn't be a concern as long as you know who you're friending within the ecosystem. Yep, you're muted, man. Jason, I think you're saying something.
Yep, my kids were nearby, so I was sparing the stream here. But no, I was gonna say that's a problem across all consoles now. It's actually, I don't know what, I don't know if Nintendo can solve it or what can happen, but the randos in chat just can really screw up the multiplayer experience. There should be something where you have to I don't know, you have to put in your transcript from school or something first or something. I don't know, something are you serious? Are you gonna play the objective? Do you want to play the game or not? If you want to goof off, go to this other lobby, or I don't know, you have to take a multi-choice test or something before you join this lobby or something. I don't know. There has to be some way to filter out the madness. I don't know.
For sure.
I just ignore it. It's like white noise to me.
I don't let my son play online because there's no telling what you're gonna hear. I mean, it's
terrible.
It's awful, and a lot of it is from other kids, and so whenever I play, I usually just mute everything. Well, I mute the chat. I don't usually play with chat unless I'm squatting up with other friends, which I almost never do. I mean, I don't think I've done that in a couple of years.
I mean, I think Nintendo's onto something, considering if you want to add a friend, I think it's easier to get a passport to like a remote island than to add a friend, because it's so like, and it's not, I'm not going to say it's like difficult, but it's not like
it's difficult,
streamlined. Yeah. In comparison to like a PlayStation, you just press 2 buttons, right? Like you want to add a friend, you need their code, you need to receive it, you need to accept it, you need to make sure it's right. And then you can voice chat. I can see how, at least for the kids, that's safe,
Yeah.
That makes it a little better.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, one thing that this presentation didn't have, I want to talk about games in a little while too, but one thing that it didn't have was prices. It had no prices. And they were throwing these new shiny things at you the whole time, and it was really exciting. And it was so good. The way the flow of everything was really good, and I completely missed it. It was about 5 minutes after it ended. I was still live streaming the event, and I was like, "Wait a second! They didn't even announce the price. They didn't announce the price of the console or the games." And I didn't even notice because everybody was so excited about what they were showing us.
Yeah.
But afterwards, like right afterwards, they announced the price of the console. The console is going to be in the US is going to be $449.49, which is quite a bit more than the original Switch. $100 more than the OLED is right now. They're coming out with one bundle that comes with Mario Kart 9, and it's going to be $500 US dollars. So $450 or $500. And that seemed reasonable enough. Like, okay, yeah, get the $500 version, $500 version, you get Mario Kart World, which we need to talk about that game too. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But then the screenshots of game prices started to come out, and then you were like, "Oh, wait a second, what are they thinking?" Because Mario Kart World is the digital download is $80.
$80,
bruh,
US.
Man.
I heard someone told me like on the first like stream for Mario Kart, they were flooding the chat with like lower the price.
They were like, yeah, the whole chat was just saying lower the price like over and over again.
Hopefully they listen to you.
So
it's a lot.
I've talked to some buddies about this. Like this is kind of an issue. I mean, it was hitting like the big consoles too for a little while. Like I don't know what you guys think about this, but it's hard because if you look at like the cost of entertainment and how it's kind of slowly risen over the last like decade, let's say, like it costs like we were going to go see Moana 2, for example, and there's 4 of us, my wife and 2 kids. And we looked into it, and it was going to cost us about like $85 to go to the movies.
Yeah.
And so it's like 2 hours of entertainment, 80, 84, 75, whatever it was. So if you have a game like Mario Kart, multiplayer, at least with 2 Joy-Cons, you got 2 people. There's 2 people with entertainment for months on end, right? So it's like if you start to look at entertainment value, or is it just like normal entertainment value inflation, or should we be somehow honoring, like most people feel, the general price for games should stay low because of the audience? Like, I don't know which one is. I don't know.
Yo, man, this is the big reason why I'm a PC gamer. Here's a tip for you guys: Steam sales.
Yeah,
Steam sales.
Yeah. No, and Epic Games gives away games every week. So that's just sure. The cost of console games and AAA titles is just too much for me. I'm just not at a point where I'm willing to pay that much for a game. I could probably go around $30 to $40, but spending $80 to $90 on a game, really feels too much to me.
It's
Yeah.
it is a lot, but I get what Jason's saying because
Mm,
when you look at like
good point.
the time spent at the movies, and if I'm out, did the $85 include concessions?
No,
That
no,
was just
this was-
tickets.
Yeah, it was one of
Oh
those
my
fancy
goodness.
places with like the reclining seats and
Oh,
all that
okay.
stuff. It
Okay.
was one of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
places, but still, I mean, you know,
One of those bougie places.
yeah,
yeah.
super bougie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but for 2 hours of entertainment, spending $85, that's tough.
Yeah.
I have thought for a long time that one of the reasons that I think I kept gaming was because it is one of the cheapest forms of entertainment.
Mm,
Whether you're playing on PC or even if you're playing console games, like when you think about the hours spent playing Halo,
Mm.
yeah,
and you spent $60 on Halo when it came out, but then the amount of hours that we played that when we were younger, like we got our money's worth out of that, you know?
yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
And
I mean,
so
nachos are like $14, so
right.
For
yeah.
real.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm thinking of in
I bought
terms
the
of
entire Mass Effect Legendary Edition trilogy for $4.99 and nachos are 14.
Right. There you go. There you go.
It's all
at least
relative. It's all relative.
At least in South Africa, yeah, we spend around 500 rand on for my family of 3 at the movies with concessions.
Mhm.
So, well, for 3D at least, that's not for like a VIP type of experience where you have comfortable seats and so on.
No.
But yeah, so that's about a half at least. So it seems that the conversion rates and stuff here has just helped us a little bit then at least.
Sure. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think so another point on this that I thought about was, when we were growing up, when Nintendo was just growing up in the 80s, you bought one game
Mhm.
and you played it for like 3 years. It's like you just played it and that's all you had, and you played it until you knew everything about it. And like
Unless
now
you
we
could
live,
swap with a friend for a little while.
Exactly,
Maybe you got
exactly. You made a friend at school and you swapped during the summer or something, swap cartridges,
None of you
but-
ever had one of these the like 110 in 1 cartridge, But
Oh
that had,
yeah. I've seen those.
those are very basic little games like elevator action,
Like Pong and stuff.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Super Mario was on there, but I think it was 2 or 3. It wasn't like the one I wanted. It was 2, I think, yeah. But yeah, all of those games, I had 110 in 1. And I remember buying a game called Crisis Force, which is like a shoot 'em up,
Crisis Force.
yeah, which was 40 rand at the time. So it's just that's not. I mean, that
Yeah.
would be, what would that be in dollars? Like less than $2.
Yeah, it's like $1.20 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so the big thing is though, is like, are we just in like a world of abundance at this point where it's just like Yako, you just said, like you can go and get free games off of Epic, or
Yeah.
you have Game Pass or Quest Plus or something, or you could just pretty much download whatever you
Yeah.
feel like playing. So now it's like, do I want to take a chunk of like $80 out of my budget to play one game when I could play
Yeah.
like 100 other ones? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean
complicated.
that's with music. That went the same way for me. Is the first time I found out about streaming. Like
Mhm.
Spotify, I'm using a service called Deezer, but I mean, I was like, sure, for the price of this per month, I can buy a CD every month,
Mhm.
or an album.
Yeah.
At least we were kind of at that point. We were going over from physical media to MP3s. So,
Yeah.
but I mean. It was just so tempting to be able to get all of these albums that I used to listen to, all of these artists, and have them at my fingertips. That got me into streaming, and I've never looked back. I mean, it's just something I would have to have a subscription for the rest of my life now. It's just being able to get
Right.
the album as soon as you hear about it, or search the song and find it immediately as you hear it, and
Yeah.
you've got it on your device. The suggestions, so yeah, streaming. Yeah, I could see.
Well,
I could see
I
it
think that's
going that way with gaming.
I think that's part of the problem, right? Is because we do live in a world where there are a lot of free games.
Mhm.
There are a lot of free to play games,
Mm.
but we also live in a world that has Game Pass. But we're
Mm.
also
Mhm.
seeing how well Game Pass has worked out for Xbox, and it's not great.
Right.
So I really feel for Nintendo because
Mm.
the cost of everything has gone up, and I feel like we should be watching some of Mario Kart World right now. Because
Yeah, for sure.
it looks like a full featured game. Like this game
Yeah, it looks great, eh?
does look incredible. Like I don't want to belittle it in any way because
Yeah.
I like this is a next gen Mario Kart because you know how in Mario Kart you like have your Grand Prix and you go in and you do your 4 races and it just takes you from track to track, right?
Right.
This you can it's open world. You can literally drive anywhere you want to go. You can drive to the top of that mountain over there or drive anywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Anywhere
eh?
you want to go. And when you finish a race, there's at least one of the modes that when you finish a race, you then race to the next race on the map, on the world map. And
That's
then
cool.
when you get there, you start the race. In fact, there's a clip in here of them like already moving as it's counting down 3, 2, 1 somewhere in this trailer. It shows that really briefly, but you can drive anywhere. It's completely open world, and that's never been done by Nintendo before, or in Mario Kart before. And with 24 racers, that's pretty cool.
Mm.
And
So I
there's
think that-
tricks, these grinding and the wall jumps here. I did
What
not
the
expect to
heck?
see that. Like,
Yeah,
there's some
pretty-
neat stuff
that's
going
sick.
on here. And all of the animations with each character has their own like facial animations, and the way they react to stuff is different.
that's interesting.
And it's just all, yeah, it's really great. Look at all those different facial expressions, and the way they move and stuff is all different. So, and there's battle modes, and there's a, I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but there's a mode where 24 racers start, and the first 20 to get to the first
Like a
checkpoint.
knockout, yeah.
Yeah, like a knockout. The first 20 to get to and there's the world. Look at all those different terrains, different biomes.
That's pretty good.
The first 20 to get to the first check mark continue on in the race, and the last people in the last 4 places, they're out, so they get knocked out, and you keep going until the race
Yeah, that's fun.
is over. So there's some new things that they're trying, and I've listened to quite a few people talk about it at this point, and all of them have said that this is great. There's I think real-time weather effects. I think that I think there's weather in this game. Like it's not just like, oh, this track always has rain on it. It's like, no, the weather changes.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. It sounded almost as though it would emulate the weather in certain locations in somewhere in the globe, somewhere in actual physical location. I think that's a little bit too far.
So if
astray
it has
there.
if it has like a day-night cycle or a weather cycle, it could be like different weather on like a course that you're familiar with, but just depending on the time, yeah.
It'd just be interesting if it's actually raining outside and it's raining on your game, eh?
Yeah, right?
That'd be an interesting thing to do.
That would be cool.
Yeah, just sync it with the weather, the local weather. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, another thing that I was thinking is, does all of these characters actually, are they part of the Mario world?
Yes. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
some way.
Mhm.
There's a lot of princesses I don't know about.
Yeah. There's a lot of Mario characters that you don't always see, but they've all been in some game. It might have been on like, Game Boy Advance or something, but
Oh, wow.
they're all from something.
Okay.
You're
yeah.
like literally off-roading, yeah.
Yeah, off-roading anywhere you want to go. Picture mode with your friends. And that was the other thing they showed off is racing with your friends. You can have the video chat at the bottom of the screen where you can see your friends' faces lined up at the bottom while you're racing, which is really cool.
It
That's
really makes me happy inside as an old gamer. It's like that's how we used to do it. I could throw some Cheetos at you if you beat me at the last second. That's what gaming's all about.
Yeah, that's fun. That's part
Oh
of
my
it.
goodness, that game is coming out in April 17th.
No,
Yeah,
there's a
next
direct.
month.
There's a
Direct,
direct
I was
for
gonna
it.
say.
on the 17th.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
what?
they already did a Nintendo Treehouse event for it, and now they're gonna have a whole direct devoted to it. So there's, I think, maybe even more stuff in this game than we already know about,
Sure.
and they've already talked about it quite a bit. So that said, I can see why this would be a game that they would charge more for, because it does seem like they put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
So I think that people are going to get their $80 worth out of it, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
So I'm not mad about it, and with it coming bundled with the Switch, so you're really getting it for $50 if you get that bundle.
Mm.
That makes a lot of sense to me. I really don't feel like people should be too mad about this. There was a rumor for a day that the physical cartridge was going to be $10 more, so it was going to be $90. I think that is not the case anymore, though. I don't think that was the case at all. I feel like that was a myth that got tossed around.
Yeah. So I do think though that as a whole, the gamer community needs to practice a little bit more gratitude. Like
Yeah.
I was on YouTube earlier today, and this guy I watched most of it. It was like a 46-minute video about why he's fallen out of love with Destiny. It's a free-to-play first-person shooter looter kind of game, but he's complaining that he doesn't like it anymore for all these reasons. But it's been live for 10 years. So it's like, I think they delivered, man. I don't know what else they can do.
Yeah, I guess
know?
we've gotten a bit spoiled, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they announced the price, and then the next day, or maybe it was 2 days later, they said, "Wait, actually, we need to rethink about this, and it has to do with the tariff situation in the U.S. right now." And so now, immediately, the internet erupted in, "Oh my goodness, the Switch 2 is not just $450, now it's going to be $600." And like everybody was reporting, Nintendo Switch is going to be $600. Like everywhere you looked.
Immediately
And-
jumping the gun.
And I'm like, no, nobody said that. No, literally no one at Nintendo has said that. I think you're jumping to a lot of conclusions here. And so then it got really political. People were mad about the price of the games, and then some stuff about the game started coming out. So some of the game cartridges don't actually have the game on it. Some of them are physical key cards that allow you
the
to then
download.
download the game.
No.
Some of the carts do have the game on it. Some of the games will not be 80. Some of them will be 60. Street Fighter 6 is coming at launch. It's going to be $60.
That's not too bad.
Cyberpunk with all the DLC is going to be $80, but you get everything. So it's like a deluxe edition of it. And I think on Steam right now, that game is $80 or $85 if you get everything. So it's comparable there. Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks phenomenal, is going to be $70, I believe. So it's not as much as Mario Kart World. So there's just the prices. It looks like Nintendo is not going to have a standard price.
Well, I think
Standard-
I think we're seeing a lot of that everywhere at this point, right?
Yeah.
But what was it? Helldivers that made everybody question why some games were more expensive than others. But I think, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine. I think it's really up to the studio or the company if Nintendo decides that like Mario Kart is worth 80.
Yeah.
It's like the same reason that like that handbag or that cologne is like worth 100 or 200. It's because that's what they wanted to sell it for. I'm sure you could find a reasonable facsimile somewhere else for cheaper, but this one costs 80.
Yeah, the more we see of it, the more I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And I think the whole industry, I think every developer in the industry wants to be able to charge more for their games.
Sure.
It just happens to be
Probably.
Nintendo, and we've seen so many studio closures. It kind of looks like they need to charge more for their games. They're not recouping their cost. So Nintendo just happens to be the one breaking the glass ceiling here and
Right.
having to deal with the fallout, which is kind of ironic because they're traditionally the ones, or have been for a while, the ones that charge less for their games.
Yeah.
They were still at $50 games when everybody went to 60. They were still at 60 when everybody went to 70. And then they leapfrogged over everybody now all of a sudden and are going straight to 80. And nobody saw that coming. And so I think that's
Yeah.
why it's
Well,
just
That's
people
why
having a
there's
hard
such a
time.
reaction.
Yeah.
Well, they were, and then the other studios for other platforms were hiring 40 people teams to make water look wet or to make
Yeah.
grass look green or whatever, and they
Yeah.
had to make up for that. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just been a strange shift for them. And it does look like the company has shifted in a lot of ways. Even the guys that did the whole presentation of the direct, they were nobody we'd ever seen in a direct before. It wasn't like the normal, top dogs at the company. It was these three guys that developed the console. And so the whole tone of everything was very different. It was almost like a new Nintendo. And the prices definitely highlighted that fact after the presentation was over. And I think that the reason they didn't share any of that during the presentation is because they didn't want people complaining while the direct was going on. Which was probably smart. But then it all blew up afterwards. And so they said, okay, we're pausing pre-orders in the US because we want to figure out if we need to adjust the price. And everybody just thought that automatically meant that they're going to go higher. I put out a tweet. Is that what you still call something when you post it on X? Is it still
An
called
X.
a tweet? Or do you
Put out
call it an X?
I don't know.
I don't know what you call
X
it.
marks
But
the spot.
I-
don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I posted something on there and on my community tab, which I guess is just called posts now on YouTube. Anyway, about how the tariffs right now, from my understanding of the tariffs, is that the U.S. government is saying, if you are charging us a 20% tariff, we're going to charge you a 20% tariff.
It's half, isn't it?
That's my understanding of what's going on. And so Vietnam, which is supposedly where Switches are being made, I don't even know that that's been confirmed, but I think that's where they're being made. They had a 46% tariff on the US. And so suddenly we're like, nah, now you're going to have a 46% tariff anything that you ship into the US. And so people are like, oh, if you mark 450 up 46%, then it's almost $600. And that's where the $600 thing came from. But I think Nintendo is a lot smarter than that. We're not giving Nintendo credit here because Nintendo has been around for over 100 years. They know what they're doing as a company. Like they're not dummies. And I think they saw all this happening and probably tried to predict what the tariffs were going to be. And I think they already built that into their price. And the reason I think that is because the price of the Switch in Japan, the Japan only Switch 2, if you convert that to US dollars, it's about $333. And 46% more than that is, I want to say, $485 or something like that. So, and usually Nintendo takes a loss on their consoles and they make all that up in software sales. So I think they lowered it to 450 because I don't think they ever wanted to be at 450 to begin with. That's not Nintendo at all. They always want to come in cheaper than everybody else, right?
Right.
So, I think they already built in the tariff before they announced the price. And I'm wondering now, because then the next day, Vietnam's like, actually, we want to go to 0% tariffs on US goods. So I'm actually seriously wondering if Nintendo could come back and lower the price of the Switch 2 before they start doing pre-orders and then have to like return people's money and go through all of that. They might actually be considering lowering the price of this stuff.
That
What do you
would-
guys think about that?
Yeah, that would make everybody very happy if that actually happened. Can you imagine?
It
From
would. I
those
think it
funds.
would make the price increase on the games easier to swallow too if the console was less.
Would be a good strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would look good on marketing, that's for sure. And again,
Mm.
like, not to harken back on the hardware, but like, dude, like, I'm sorry, but it's all relative, right? Like, I'm not gonna pay $100 plus microtransactions for Madden carbon copy versus like what you know is gonna be actual like quality,
Right.
Nintendo games. So I think from a marketing perspective, if they actually capitalized on that, that would be brilliant, especially when the holidays roll around. If they do this like crazy like Black Friday sale and just take advantage of that, that would be really cool. So yeah, I could see that happening for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, 450 for the console doesn't seem overly outrageous to me.
Yeah, I
seems
think the to your point, Yako, I think the PlayStation Pro changed everyone's tolerance level. The PS5 Pro.
That's
Yeah,
at
well, that, like-
$699, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard it was like 700 bones. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
$6.99 if you, but without the stand and without the disc drive.
Yeah.
like what the heck, man?
But yeah.
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah. But it's weird. Like I said, it goes back to what I was saying. Like, but we have a console for like 5 years. So technically it's like $100 a year subscription. Meanwhile, we're
Yeah.
paying like $20 a month for Netflix and
Yeah.
we don't watch it.
Right.
So it's weird. It's like the gaming industry has found itself in this really peculiar place where everyone feels like it should stay cheap no matter what, but everything else around it is getting really expensive.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
Yeah.
good point.
So all this got me thinking about all these price increases on Nintendo stuff. Got me thinking about this little thing that I read a long time ago. Tell me if you've heard this before. It's says, "For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus our Lord."
Mm.
And there's this biblical and Christian theology that, hey, everyone in this world has sinned, and that sin separates us from God. And that sin, the cost of that sin is literally death. But it has to be the death of a perfect sacrifice in order to pay for it, which none of us could do because none of us are perfect, which we've already established. So who could possibly pay our debt? Who could pay this high price? And I think about this pretty often, especially when I hear about prices going up and up and up. I think about how, man, throughout my life, the price of my sin went up and up and up, and yet Jesus is still enough. His sacrifice, his blood is still enough.
Amen.
And what would I do without him?
Yeah,
We'd be in debt.
absolutely.
I would be
Whole
in
lot of
extreme debt.
Yeah.
Extreme
Mm-hmm.
crushing debt.
Yeah, for real. Dude, some of us this weekend stocked up some stuff, man. No, but jokes aside,
But-
yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
passage. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, 1 Peter 2:24 says, "He himself," speaking of Christ, "bore our sins in his body on the cross so that we might die to sins and live for
Mhm.
righteousness. By his wounds you have been healed." Like, Jesus takes on the full price hike of our sin. He took
Mhm.
on the full price hike of our sin, and he paid for it through his sacrifice, so that we can access something better, so that we can access a righteous life and a healed life and a life that's whole. And yeah, Romans 5:8, God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us.
Amen.
Mhm.
before we
Mhm.
even asked for it, before we even realized how bad off we were. He went ahead and paid for that price hike. Just paid the whole thing, paid the whole price. And I couldn't be more thankful for that. And as we head toward the Easter holiday, the celebration of, well, I guess the what would you call it? Would you call it the mourning of his death? The
Unintended, but not really.
reflection.
as we reflect on his death and his sacrifice, and we celebrate his resurrection, it's something that I keep going back to is like I still mess up. Like even today, I got mad at my kids and I overreacted. I feel like that wasn't right of me to do, and I went to them and I apologized. Now they shouldn't have been doing what they were doing, but I overreacted is what I'm trying to say. And I had to say, you know what, I'm sorry. Let's talk this through. But Jesus covered all of that. Like, that might be just a little thing. It's not like I went out and robbed a bank, but he paid the full price. And I think that's worth reflecting on as we approach Easter. Y'all have any thoughts? Anything you want to say?
No.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me in the sacrifice is that it's always been the perfect way to leave a sense of purpose, a sense of instruction. It's the same thing like when you're, if your parents pay for college, right? Then kind of always every day you go to class, you're like, I can't mess this up. Right. so our debt has been paid. It's like, I can't mess this up. It's a constant reminder, that I should be, honoring that sacrifice.
No.
And for me, what's interesting about that as well, I'm not sure where the passages are, but there's a few that indicate that Jesus sort of knew why he was doing it. He was dying for the many sons to come.
Yeah,
I think there's a passage like that says something like that he was the first of many brethren.
yeah.
So he sort of knew why he was doing it. He was dying to pay for the sins of the world, but it's not just that. He was dying because he saw what we could be with that. He saw what he was purchasing. He was purchasing righteousness for us. So he saw you. He saw what you could be like with Christ in you, after his sacrifice. And that's awesome to me. And it's like, he saw what we could be like, and that was worth paying the price. That I think that helped him press through, because he knew he knew what was coming. That's very clear out of the scriptures, and it was extreme. He didn't want to go through it. He actually asked the Father if it could be avoided, but he was willing to go through that. And I think part of it was because he knew what we would be like. He knew what he was purchasing, and that's awesome. It just adds so much more value when you think of it. That Christ, he saw what you could be like with him inside of you, with righteousness purchased. So that's quite cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It brought me to two passages as you were talking about. The first one I want to mention. Well, I'll start with John. Everybody loves John, right? It reminds me of the one where he says, it's 5. This God really put this verse in my heart recently too, because I feel like it's so reassuring. John 5:24, where he says, "Truly I say to you, he who hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life, and does not come into judgment, but has passed out of death into life."
Yes.
It's like this active, this active,
Present.
almost exactly presently, like you've already passed on to it. This is of the past. And it kind of alludes to another one of Paul's teachings, where he literally says there is absolutely nothing that'll separate you from the love of God, right? Where he talks about it in Romans 8:37 to 39. And two of the things that are mentioned are death nor life, Neither of those can separate you from the love of God. So yeah, the wages of sin is death, but not even that will separate you from his love. And it's almost like this all-encompassing package where, that's the joy we have. That's what we believe in. I think it's so amazing to have that reassurance that, yeah, you're gonna mess up, but that's the point, though.
Mhm.
That was exactly the reason. It's because of our nature. We're imperfect beings, but he still loves his imperfect beings. He never expected perfection. He didn't want you to be, but he still loves you, and that's amazing. So
No, and back to sort of what Jason was saying is that this is, that's something that's comforting to me as well. Is every time you kind of wonder, does Jesus love me?
Right.
After doing
Right.
all of this,
Mhm.
you just got to look
Exactly.
back at the cross. You
Yep.
already showed, you already said
Mhm.
and confirmed.
He
it.
already knew. Yeah.
Yep.
He knew what Peter was gonna do. He knew what everyone was gonna do. He still was consistent. So I think that's very reassuring, and it
Yeah.
shows that we don't serve a God who's gonna get you to submit out of fear. That's beyond the reality. That fear that's what bullies do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
Romans 2
And
says
because-
it's his kindness that leads us to repentance. Yeah.
There you go.
The
There you go.
goodness and
Yeah.
kindness of God.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He knew it all. And and that's one of the things that blows my mind is that, like, a lot of times I think about well, I was forgiven of all the stuff I did before, but then tomorrow I do something and I'm like, oh man, what about that thing? But no, when he paid it all on the cross, all of it was, none of it had been committed yet. None of my
Yes.
sin had been committed yet when he died on the cross,
Mhm.
but he died for all of it and
Mm.
forgives all of it. So, and his sacrifice, his blood was enough to pay for all of it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's epic.
So
For real.
there's no greater price tag you can put on anything than the price tag for sin itself, and it blows Switch 2 out of the water.
Here's a
But
Here's a little
Jesus paid
something-
for it.
yeah, sorry, man.
Go ahead.
Here's a bit of something that helped me, with the whole, because a lot of times you struggle with that, to accept that you've actually been forgiven.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you don't live forgiven, you're not giving God what He paid for. No,
Right.
He paid for your forgiveness.
Right.
Don't do that.
And
Live
I want
forgiven, live righteous.
to say this too, that it's not even just that he paid for your forgiveness, like he paid for your forgiveness and then he made you a new creation. Like he
Mhm.
made
Yeah.
you are the next gen version of yourself. Like
Yeah.
you
Yes,
are the
sir.
next gen upgrade now. You are new. You are
Yeah.
brand new and shiny because of what he did. Like that blows me. That blows my mind, man.
I'm telling you, focusing on that, focusing on everything the word says we are, that'll change you more than anything, more than any
Really?
kind of I'm gonna try to be better.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times that's a response to that is I've gotta be better now. But
Mhm.
you are better already.
Right.
Choose to
Yeah.
the word says count yourself dead indeed to sin.
Mm-hmm.
When that passage was in Peter. Sure, now my brain is wigging out, but
Well, it's 4 a.m. there where you are.
Yeah, that's true. That's
We'll
true.
give you a pass, man.
Yeah, I think I give you some grace. Yeah.
yeah, that's sorry guys, that's why I'm yawning here. But
You go. You good.
but yeah, no, but I mean that's that we've already it speaks about it, like the way the Bible talks. It talks presently. It's not something you've got to attain. It's something you've got when you
Right.
give your life to Christ.
Yeah.
It's something that He does in you. It's done. It's in you. Bible says, live out, work out your salvation. It's talking about an inside to outside. It's about an inner reality that has to become something that you live. And only
Right.
one that's stopping it is you, if you believe that you're not good enough,
Mm.
that you aren't. That's the only thing the devil has, is he can convince you that you're not.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Right.
not true, man. The truth will set you free. John 8:32.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Well, I feel like I don't know. I felt like that was I probably won't have another podcast before Easter. So I wanted to talk about that tonight.
Yeah.
With this price hike situation because it's the most important thing we could ever talk about. And so if you're watching tonight or later on down the road, I know some people watch afterwards. Just know that Jesus doesn't just love you. He loves you so much that he died for you. He died for your sin to pay the price of your sin and my sin and Yugi's sin and Jason's sin and Yarko's sin, all of our sin. He paid that price so that we could be next gen and be made new. And it's a price we couldn't pay. And that's like, who else would do that? Like, I love you guys, but I would have a hard time laying down my life for any of you.
Especially that way.
And I'm sure that any of you would have the same problem with me. Like, you know, that's a hard thing.
It even cuts deeper in your throat when you think about, and again, I am so sorry because I understand that some of you guys are parents, but you get where I'm going with that. I'm not even going to speak it out there, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your own family, like your son, that's
whew. Well, then, and you
That's
think
rough.
about when he gave his life on the cross, everybody that was around hated him.
right.
Like
On
all
top
the
of that.
mobs came and arrested him, and they beat him and hurled insults at him and lied about who he was. But he still they mocked him. Like, but he still did it. And there's this kid's book that tells Bible stories. It's called the Jesus Storybook Bible, and I really like it. And we read it a lot of times around Easter with the kids, just because I like it. It's not really for them; it's really for me. But there's this line in there when it gets to the chapter about Jesus' death on the cross that says, it says about the people that were around. It says, but they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that held him there; it was love.
Yeah.
And that gives me chill bumps every time I read that line, thinking about that. It wasn't the nails that held him there, guys. You did not have control over this situation. It was his love for you as you murdered him. That is what kept him there on that cross.
Yeah.
So just know that, and you can always reach out to any of us
Amen.
and let us know how we can pray for you, or
sure.
if you want to know more about how to know Jesus, we would love to tell you about that.
Absolutely. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Any last thoughts before we talk about Metroid Prime 4?
Okay.
Pretty good.
We good? All right.
Pretty good.
Cool. Let's look at some of the games. I need to find a list. Maybe one of you guys could find a list of games that was announced, because it was a pretty lengthy list. While we look at this Prime 4 Treehouse, we'll just kind of let it play in the background. The graphics on this game, of course, this is a cross-gen title, but the graphics look really, really good on Metroid Prime 4. And it looks like this is going to be some kind of time travel game. Also, they allowed people to play through the first kind of the first level of the game. It runs at 4K 60 docked and has those mouse controls and has HDR support. And it's just like, again, this is Nintendo, and I can't believe we're getting a 4K 60 game.
Man.
From Nintendo.
That's actually insane.
It also can run at 1080p 120 frames per second. And we don't get 4K 60 games on a lot of PlayStation 5 games.
Right.
So it really is bonkers that we're seeing this from Nintendo. I wonder where the mouse control stuff was, because that's really what I wanted to see. Let's see if they showed that off.
Metroid was always so cool, man.
Here's that boss fight, I think, at the end. But Metroid is really cool, and it's one of those franchises that just, for whatever reason, like can never seem to quite sell super well in the West, and I don't know why. Like it does okay, but it's never gotten to like, you know, Mario or Donkey Kong numbers of sales. In fact, I think the last Metroid game, Metroid Dread, was the first Metroid game to break 3 million in sales in ever. So, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I'm really excited about this game. I guess they're not gonna. I guess
I'm just looking at how much damage is like not coming off this boss.
Oh yeah,
for real.
It's like true Nintendo style of like you're in for the fight. You're gonna be here for a while. you know?
absolutely,
Rinse and repeat.
absolutely.
Rinse and repeat.
But like the smoke effects coming off of the missiles and stuff looks really good. There's a lot to like here. Oh, they're using the mouse controls right there. I'm just looking at the bottom instead of the top. See how you just switched back and forth?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you see that? That's crazy. And there he goes. He's just back into mouse mode.
Since the Lenovo Legion Go, I've loved the idea of the controller being able to be used as a mouse. So it's a very big draw to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What about let's take a look at Donkey Kong real quick. This is the only
Yeah,
other
that look-
Nintendo, no, the only other Nintendo first party thing that they've done, and then we'll kind of wrap up. Here it is. This game looks bananas. Sorry, pun.
And it's Bonanza.
It is Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Bonanza.
It looks really good. Like the foliage, the little flowers are moving. Like Nintendo doesn't do this stuff. Like, but the crazy part about this game is that the environments are all destructible.
Yeah.
That was impressive. Looks really good.
They took a page out of Battlefield's playbook.
Battlefield, Red Faction. Red Faction, anybody? He gets to destroying stuff here in a second. But again, these kind of huge, sprawling worlds, it looks like you can go pretty much anywhere you want.
Yeah.
But he can destroy. What they've said is he can destroy anything. He can destroy all the environments. You can just keep going down. You can make your own highways underneath the ground, like your own tunnel system.
That's
And
gonna
when
be.
it stays that way.
It's gonna be like Donkey Kong Minecraft.
Yeah, literally.
People who have played it were
Searching for
talking about
gold.
Minecraft. Yeah, they were comparing it to that. This trailer doesn't show it off a ton. It shows off some. I mean, you can see stuff breaking, but I want to see how they implement these 2D levels. But they haven't shown that off very much yet. So even his facial expressions are so good.
Yeah.
Like look at the bananas in his eyes. It looks like a really fun game to me. It kind of, like an Astrobot in a way, or like a Super Mario Odyssey or something like that.
It's probably I was gonna say it's probably gonna be so satisfying to play as a character that actually feels strong, like what a Hulk game should be like or something.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree. His eyes popping out. So that comes out in July, not too far away. But
there was a Zelda game too, right?
Yeah.
Hyrule Warriors or something like that.
Oh
No, was
yeah, I
it-
forgot about that. There's a new Hyrule Warriors game they're working on. I don't think it comes out at launch though. I think the only
No,
game
it's
they
not
have
for
coming
launch.
out at launch is is Mario Kart, which is weird. But I don't know. Let me see if I can find a list.
They got Kirby Air Riders. They've got the Dusk Bloods, a nice and
Okay,
horror type game for you, Bo.
Yugi, you should look up the Dusk Bloods. It's a From Software game that's exclusive. Nintendo got a From Software exclusive game on the Switch too.
Yeah, that's actually kind of insane.
It kind of looks like a sequel to Bloodborne. That's called
I'm
the
buying it.
Dusk.
That's
the
all I
Dusk
need to hear.
Bloods.
Hades 2, Split Fiction.
Hades 2. They brought up Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song. Split Fiction is coming at launch. Split Fiction is supposed to be really good from the people who made It Takes Two. I haven't played it, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've heard good things. They're gonna do a enhanced version of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do have those. You have to pay for that upgrade, but yeah, they have those.
Yeah.
Which I think are running in 4K as well, which should be really cool to see.
I actually never played Tears of the Kingdom. I sold my Switch to stop being such a gamer, so I never played it.
Sure. I wouldn't mind owning one. It's like an awesome little console.
Yeah.
But
I was trying to
hopefully, I think Switch One will come down. The price on Switch One, hopefully, a bit.
Sure.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at Dusk Bloods, and they totally just shot a machine gun. Okay, they're really going there. They just pulled out an Uzi. I love this. Okay. Sign me up.
You watch a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger older movies,
Oh yeah.
like
Uzi 9
Commando.
millimeter.
Yeah. Get to the chopper.
Like, all right, sign me up, dude. That's all I need to see.
Here's a list of the games. Yugi, let us know anything you want us to know about Dusk Bloods there. Mario Kart we talked about. Welcome Tour is like, it shows you what different features of Switch 2 are, and it's not a pack-in game, which it totally should be, but
Yeah.
you're gonna have to pay for it if you want it. It looks really dumb. It looks like it should be just a demo that like shows you, like you're a little tiny person walking around on an actual Switch 2.
That's
And go into the different parts of the hardware, and then like you click on something and you play a little mini game that
Well, you're gonna have to
describes
pay
how it
for that.
works. Like it's really weird. It should just be on the console.
Yeah.
And it's not. Donkey Kong. This is that wheelchair basketball game. Drag and Drive. Hyrule Warriors.
What's Hyrule Warriors?
It's a Warriors style game, where you're fighting like hundreds of people at once.
Okay.
But it's
That
all
sounds-
based in Hyrule, so based on the Legend of Zelda lore.
Zelda. That
And,
sounds.
and it has a story with it. Kirby Air Riders is a racing game, so I don't think that was an announced title. Wasn't announced for that, which makes sense because I don't think they want to compete with Mario Kart. The Dusk Bloods, Metroid Prime 4, Breath of the Wild. Some new content for Super Mario Party. Some people will be happy about that, I'm sure. Some new content for Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Fortnite.
Pokemon Legends ZA gets a 4K upgrade, but still has completely flat buildings, like we talked about last time, Yugi. They look terrible. Civ 7, Hogwarts Legacy. They showed off Hogwarts Legacy. It did not look as good as the PS5 version, but it looked a lot better than the Switch version. Nintendo doesn't talk about this stuff, but Nvidia came out and said that the Switch 2 is 10 times, the GPU is 10 times more powerful than the Switch 1, is what they said.
Yeah, because it's an NVIDIA processor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an NVIDIA processor. So, and I think that you see that with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, by the way, the build in New York this weekend that people were playing, that they were like, I can't believe this is running better than on Steam Deck and all that stuff. They built that in 7 weeks for
Sure.
Switch
Oh,
2.
wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So that's really great, because if it's that easy to port some of these games over to Switch 2, like that's really good news.
Very good news.
We're probably going to see a lot of stuff. Fortnite, Daemon X Machina. I forgot about that. That one looked really, really good.
And that looked like a what do you call it?
It's like a Mech Warrior or like Armored Core game.
Armored
looking
Core.
game.
That's what I'm looking for. The name.
Yeah, it looked really good. The original one was on the Switch 1, and this is a sequel to that. It looks really good. Street Fighter 6 looked good. Yakuza looked pretty good. Split Fiction looked good. Just seeing if there's anything else interesting on here. Shadow Labyrinth. Have y'all seen this Shadow Labyrinth game? It's Pac-Man.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not-
yeah.
It's Dark Pac-Man.
No
Mhm.
way.
Yeah,
That's
look
just
it
like the
up.
Amazon
Look it
series.
up, Hughie, and
Looking at it right
share it
now.
with us if you will.
I got you. Hold on. There's no way.
Yeah, it's a 2D side scroller type thing, but it's like in the Pac-Man universe.
No way.
Yeah,
Dark.
Dude, so they did that on Amazon. It was remember it was like a
The
spin-off
series.
Yeah.
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 That was.
Oh my goodness,
that
you're right.
episode-
That's got to be where this is based off of, right?
It's very dark. The episode of Pac-Man there. It's like eating
Yeah.
monsters type of thing. You know.
Yeah, it was like a really
Yeah.
dark Pac-Man that they
Can
made
you-
like an Amazon series out of.
can you
so it's
share
like-
it?
Yeah, I got you. I didn't know this
Yeah.
was a thing. Oh, Bandai's in it, huh?
Yeah.
So they're.
Yes. Look at this.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, this is it. Yeah, yeah. This is from. There's an Amazon series about this.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
Look, there he is,
Yeah. This is the exact same thing.
and he follows you around, and
Yeah.
he eats stuff, and then sometimes he turns huge.
Yep.
When I was seeing this, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, "What am I?"
Yeah. It's a little grim, but if you can stomach it, I would watch the Amazon spin-off about the
Wait.
Pac-Man lore.
Yeah. No.
Watch this part,
I got you.
or maybe it's the.
This
There's
is
a part
insane.
where I like the bosses. They look
No, it's
awesome.
like different, almost like a Monster Hunter type thing.
Yeah.
Look
yeah.
at that. Oh
Yeah,
my
that-
goodness. Look at that. What is
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah, because the way it works is like the guy wakes up from this chamber just like it shows it in the trailer, right?
Uh-huh.
And like
Oh.
I guess like the little Pac-Man is like, hold on, let me show you right here. Yeah, in the spin-off series, I forgot what it's called. He wakes up from this
Yeah.
chamber. It's called what's it? Do you remember what it's called, Yago? I forgot.
Sure, I can't remember. I can't even
Yeah.
remember the name of the series right now, but I know.
So
it's-
yeah, this little Pac-Man right here like talks to you, right? Right here, it like talks to the guy, and it's like encouraging him to eat what he kills.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
"You gotta eat." No, dude, it's so dark. I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, I was also,
Well,
I was also like, sure, I don't know if I like this, but
Yeah,
I don't
Interesting.
normally go for like the dark stuff, but this game
Mm.
looks really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I kind of want to check it out.
yeah. It's called
I-
Secret Level. That's what it is. Secret
Yeah,
Level.
secret
Secret
level.
Level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. Did you see? Side note: did you see the one of Eternum? Arnold Schwarzenegger does the voiceover.
Oh no, I didn't
in
see that
Secret
one.
Level. Yeah, he
pretty
plays like
good.
this king who's like very arrogant, but yeah, it's an
That's
interesting
dope.
episode.
That's pretty cool.
I want to point out, where is it? Marvel Cosmic Invasion
I'm so excited about that game.
by
coming
the
to-
same team that made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. They're making
Nice.
a Marvel-based beat 'em up, and it looks so good. And I loved Shredder's Revenge so much. I'm really excited about that one. Comes out this holiday. Elden Ring on Switch 2. I thought it looked pretty good. Some people were saying they didn't think it looked like it was optimized very well, but again, like this is like a pre-release state that we're seeing, so I don't think we can really completely judge it yet. But the fact that it's even just running on a Switch, on a portable handheld, that probably has a power draw of like 2 watts while you're using it in handheld mode or something, is incredible. Silk Song, Hades 2, Madden's coming back to Switch, which hasn't been there for a long time. Some other EA Sports stuff. Borderlands 4 is coming to Switch too, which is cool to see. Star Wars Outlaws is coming this year. Final Fantasy VII Remake is leaving PlayStation 5 and coming over to Switch too. That's kind of crazy.
That's wild.
They showed off Enter the Gungeon 2, which looks pretty cool. The Hitman World of Assassination is coming as well. And yeah, Sonic X Shadow Generation there at the bottom. So a lot of, all of this is, most of this I think is this year. There's a few at the bottom didn't have a year announcement yet, but a lot of this is coming this year. So pretty cool stuff. Quite a big lineup. And I think I think it's going to be a good system. I just don't know how if the price is going to turn people off or deter them from buying this or not. But they could have another hit on their hands here, because it seems really well planned out, really well put together. The hardware anyway. Yeah.
I mean, these AAA titles portably is hard to beat, right? Like,
right.
Go on the move, you're on a plane, in the car, you're visiting a friend, you can always have a AAA experience with you on the go. The size of like barely your hands being spread apart. I mean, I don't know, man. That's hard to beat.
With 120 hertz refresh rate. I mean, not
right
in every game, but
right.
But a good screen, like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really hard to beat. Yeah, you just got a little docking station you can pack that's not even that big. Yeah, it's perfect. No, they're really nailing it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I'm excited to see how the pricing stuff works out. I think that's probably pretty much everybody's hesitation here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on anything, hardware or software?
Dude, I'm so stoked that by the way, there was a funny comment going back to the Pac-Man thing that I noticed. He was saying he loves that they're still kind of being a little tongue-in-cheek with the Pac-Man sound effects and the goofiness of it while it's still dark. I love stuff like that too. That's true. That's a good point. So like, I'm telling you, man, like I hope that really takes off, because that was like my first game growing up, to see Pac-Man having these spins off. I just think it's so good, man. It's such a good time for gaming, I swear.
Yeah,
we're just getting started. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, I knew you were a Pac-Man fan, so I wanted you to see.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, that was literally my first love in gaming. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Well, Jason, man, where can we find you? Thanks for being here tonight.
Hey, always glad to join. You can find me at the Construct VR or the Construct _VR on YouTube. I am always trying to upload on a consistent basis. I'm actually taking like a deep dive into where we started with motion controls. I actually dug out my old Xbox Kinect. So
wow.
Wow.
I actually have a 360 Kinect around here somewhere. I won't get up, but I'm gonna try to do some different kind of content, hopefully. But yeah, you can find me here on the interwebs.
Nice.
Very, very good. Yugi.
Find me streaming here on YouTube and on all platforms at Yugi601 or an underscore next to it. Feel free to reach out, but I'll be streaming on YouTube as always. Podcasts, all that fun stuff. Yep.
Very cool. Yako. Hey, yeah, go ahead, Yako.
No. Yeah, so on YouTube at the Tech Update, mostly comparisons on handheld retro devices, older gamer year. As you heard earlier, I'm playing the old stuff that the other guys haven't even heard of. But comparing retro consoles mostly on my channel. looking at moving. Interested in some of the phones that have come out have really interested me, like the the Asus ROG Phone 9. It looks really nice. So I did a video on that, but I want to move over and see how that will interact, like maybe different types of phones with retro content, some of the future content that you might be seeing on the channel. But yeah.
Cool. Listen, man, we didn't you were supposed to be on last time, and then you had some electrical outage or something.
Yeah, power outage.
Yeah, and you weren't able to join us. I wanted to celebrate the fact that you hit 1,000 subs, man.
Hey, nice,
whoop,
nice,
whoop.
nice.
Let's go.
Good job.
Thanks to everyone who subscribed. It's that's an honor. It's awesome, guys.
Heck yeah, man.
Sorry, I've got a little girl on the way as well, so you guys might not be seeing me as regularly within the next few months.
Yeah,
Might
somebody
have
else
to
will occupy
scale
your
down.
4 a.m. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's bring her on with you.
Good try. Yeah, no, she'll be part of the podcast. But
Yeah,
I mean, on
let's
the
go.
channel as well. I might have to scale down a little bit on the uploads, but I'm still going to be there.
Sweet. Well,
Excellent.
definitely excited for you for many reasons, man.
Absolutely,
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
for sure.
Well, this is Bono's Gaming. You can find me right here, and I'm gonna be I got a review on this retro handheld coming soon. This is a Palkey V20, and like I have some Switch repair videos coming. One is changing out the Switch fan for a new one, and one is replacing the battery. And I might also do a Joy-Con fixing the joysticks for some Hall Effect sticks as well. But I do have the first two shot already. I'm in the process of editing those. But if you can't quite cut that Switch 2 price, and you're like, you know what, I want to breathe some new life into my Switch 1, you can do that by replacing some of the parts. And so hopefully that'll help some people out in that way. Yeah. That's what I got coming out soon. But that has been episode 32, gentlemen, of the Save State. We are so thankful for all of you who have joined us tonight. And we just pray that you have a great rest of your April and Easter holiday season. We will be back on April 28th. I've got stuff the next couple of Mondays where it's going to keep me from doing a podcast to try to do one every other week. But it's going to be 3 weeks hiatus this time. So April 28th, I'll be back with whoever else is available. Hopefully you guys can join me too. And we'll see you then, though. So until then, stay kind and encouraging out there. Check these guys out. I've linked to them in the description below. We'll catch you on the flippity flip. See ya.